The latest. Thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. These people have the perception that Africans, we cannot live in Africa, and that is the reason to which we are always running away from Africa into Europe. We are dying on the Mediterranean Sea, and these people are doing everything possible to stop us from entry into Europe. But these people are not telling the world what they have done to Africa. That is the reason to which Africans do not want to stay in Africa, and we are doing everything possible, dying on the Mediterranean Sea. But there is somebody who is bold to come out to tell this truth to the Europeans and to France. France has always been in Africa, and France is the nation that do not want to be on its own, want to use the lazy tactics in making money to take care of its problems. There is nobody who has been able to be bold enough to tell it to Emmanuel Macron, but the Prime Minister of Italy, Georgia, Meloni, fearlessly blasted Macron and told him Macron not to give them lessons, not to give them lecture, because he knows the root cause of this problem that Africans are having, and that is the reason to which we are always moving out of the African continent to wherever they are in Europe. Told Macron to stop exploiting Africa, and moving us from one place to the other isn't going to solve the problem. He should stop exploiting, stealing, and robbing Africa. France is printing CFA franc for 14 African countries, forcing them to use this money and paying taxes, colonial taxes on it, for doing all this, and forcing these nations to keep their money in wherever they are in France. And when they go for their money, they pay interest on this money. According to her, Niger is having uranium, yet Niger is not benefiting. Niger is not enjoying light. These people are living in darkness. Niger is the one giving uranium to France, yet Niger is living in darkness. According to her, this must come to an end. France must stop exploiting these people. And that is the reason to which we had a leader, General Abdurrahman Chani, who rose up and said no to this kind of treatment. When these people were in Niger having control over the uranium, they buy it, and at the end of the day, Niger only enjoyed 80 cents. And these people tend to sell this same uranium for 200 euros. Now that Niger has stopped, we have seen that there's a significant development happening in Niger currently. And these are the things that we want African leaders to rise up and fight.
Cioè, mi hai tolto il pathos. Vomitevole è chi, come la Francia, continua a sfruttare l'Africa stampando moneta per 14 nazioni africane sulle quali applica il signoraggio, facendo lavorare bambini nelle miniere, estraendo materie prime come accade in Niger, dove la Francia estrae il 30% dell'uranio che gli serve a far camminare le centrali nucleari, e il 90% dei nigerini vive senza elettricità. Non ci venire a fare lezioni, Macron, perché l'Africa scappa da voi. E la soluzione non è spostare gli africani in Europa, è liberare l'Africa da certi europei. Non accettiamo lezioni. Chiaro?
If today we still have people leaving Africa, it's due to several European countries, first of all France, that didn't finish colonizing Africa.
Di Maio accused France of impoverishing 14 African countries that use the CFA franc, a colonial-era currency underpinned by the French treasury, and forcing people to flee to Europe.
Our leaders are always quiet. They are not talking about it. Look at a woman who is outside of the African continent speaking the truth. These things that other European leaders are not able to come out to talk about. We have somebody who has openly come out to blast the brother for doing the wrong thing. At the end of the day, they sit down and tell us how lazy we are. The African do not want to do anything for himself, because we are lazy, we are good at merrymaking, but they don't tell the world the things that they are doing, like this aid that they said they are giving to Africa. Aid for what? Aid for the mineral resources. What they give broad daylight, the whole world sees it, but what they take during the night from Africa is always in darkness, and for that reason nobody sees it. and always they portray the African to be the one that is poor and dependent, and as if they don't come here to give us anything, we can never survive. But the truth is, these people are not able to live without Africa, and that is why when we are kicking them out of Africa, they do not want to go. All their industries need the raw materials that are coming from Africa, and that is the reason to which these people are doing everything possible to make sure that we don't get our own industrialization, because if Africa should become industrialized, these people are going to suffer, and they know that their life and their wealth and everything of theirs depends on Africa. So they decide to create systems to make sure the African do not rise. But even though now that we got to know the systems, our leaders are scared. When Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso started, everybody said they were not going to be a headway for them. People were sitting down folding their arms, even the African leaders, trying to see how best this is going to end. But now they've seen that even with all that they were planning and thinking that it's not going to help, has really turned out to be a negative thing. The African are always say fear is our problem. See how fearlessly a woman is pointing out these things. But Africa would enjoy talking and sitting there and always calling the same people to come and set us free. How do we sit in African Union and always call these people to come and set us free, asking for reparation, when we need to unite as a people and have a force to fight the system that they've created? We know the root cause, but because we are scared and because we've also allowed ourselves to be in their groups, we have to do what the groups always want from us instead of what we have to do best to safeguard our nations and to safeguard the continent. We can do it, and we alone can set ourselves free. If the African is still sitting here thinking that somebody will come and set us free, then it's a dream that we have to wake up from. We are the only ones that can fight and set ourselves free. That is why our all-in-alls have made it clear that we are at war, and we have to fight for the freedom and the liberation that we are looking for. United we stand, divided we fall, and united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world, in Europe and in Italy.